Welcome to Nice Ashes. I'm Mike.
And I'm Nate.
What are we smoking today, Nate?
I'm going to mispronounce this. It looks like it's a Kentucky? I'm just teasing. That's not the word that I was going to mispronounce. Kentucky fire-cured MUWAT? MUWAT? M-U-W-A-T.
MUWAT. Something like that. This is from Subculture Studios, I believe.
Okay.
So
I like the flavor on the wrapper.
That is good.
Yeah, this will be interesting. Yeah, Subculture Studios, that's what it says.
I have no expectations for this one. I don't even recall how I got this, to be honest with you. So
I feel like I ordered these in one of my orders, and I just did two of them, maybe.
You did. Maybe you did. That's
all I can say is the draw on this one is amazing, especially coming off that CAO Black that I had. But it's quite tasty, the first couple puffs. I like it. It's darker by a long shot than the CAO Black.
Yeah, it is darker. Kind of sweet.
Yeah, it's got some sweetness to it. In a good way. It's not overly so, but it's dark and sweet, just like my soul.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's nice. That is nice. Okay, say I wasn't expecting anything.
No, and you know what? It's nice for us to come into a cigar and really not have any expectations, I think.
I agree.
Because so many are like name brand this or, popular or whatever, and then it feels like we're expected to like it or something. And so it's really nice coming in and not knowing anything about it.
Yeah, it's different. I generally do have expectations from certain brands.
Yeah.
So, which is, if you're going into a cigar shop and you don't know what to get, sometimes you do just want to get something that you know is going to be decent.
Yeah. And I'm pairing this one with a Lift Bridge Juice Z, which is a New England IPA.
Okay. You
out of Stillwater, Minnesota.
Oh, jeez. Inside of the Lift Bridge.
Oh, yeah. Don't you know?
So
that thing goes up and then it comes down and it mashes them their hops,
Oh, yeah. Now isn't it a bicycle walking bridge?
Yes.
Okay.
We used to drive over it because we used to live right across the river from it in Wisconsin. And we used to drive over it. And every time my dad was like, I think this thing's going to fall down soon. And it still hasn't fallen down. But it got to be to the point where it was too dangerous for cars to drive over it. So now they've turned it into like a marketplace or what have you.
Well, that wasn't exactly true. It wasn't a matter of danger. It was more a matter of vehicle flow.
Well,
it's narrow,
yeah, but also danger. Have you driven across that bridge ever?
I've worked on it.
Okay. Anyway.
The safety aspect isn't dangerous.
It just feels dangerous because it was, it's an old bridge with old road parameters. So you feel real close to the sides and there's not a whole lot of like room in between lanes. And
it definitely is a lot more safe if you're, feels more safe if you're walking on it than if you're driving across it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like the lift bridge in Duluth.
Oh, yeah. Excited about the episode topic?
I don't know what the topic is yet.
I know you don't, but so we just came off of our kind of Nebraska transgender bill episode, and that one was the more difficult of the two topics. So I thought we could kind of like downshift and just coast a little bit for this next episode.
Nice.
And also because we tend to record two episodes back to back, just so we have some leeway if we need to do something else on our recording evenings. So I wasn't sure if Mike was going to be 3 or 5 stone fences in or not. So I figured do the delicate one first, and then we could do something a little easier second. So
I'm on my second water.
Okay, we got to watch out then. He's getting riled up. I can hear it in his voice. All right. I thought we would do kind of a true-false old wives' tales.
Okay.
All right. And so I don't know if old wives' tales are derogatory or not, to call them that, or if I should call them old men tales or Anything else? And so I thought we kind of do like with our, is this phrase or word racist or not? I thought it'd be a little bit of fun here. And so I've got a couple website tabs open. We're just going to kind of go through. And now I haven't read through these whole sites. I did some other research, and some of them, they said some of these wipe tales were true, and I know them to be false. So we're going to kind of have a little bit of our own input on these as well. And some of these I have not heard of because apparently I'm not an old wife. So, and the people that used to tell me these old wives' tales are by and large dead. So I don't really have easy access to them anymore.
Sure.
So I've got this website up. It's 19 popular old wives' tales, true or false. And so I'll just go through and I'll ask you what you think. And I'll try and do it so that I don't see this first one. I know what the answer is. So, but going forward, I'm going to try and not see the answer until we can talk about it. So number 1, putting earwax on a cold sore will speed up its healing process. Now, this is one I've never heard of.
I've never heard of that. That doesn't seem like that. I don't know.
I mean, it would taste bad, wouldn't it? It would taste bad.
It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to say
well, let's
false.
see. All right. This one says, true. Earwax has anti-herpes, anti-micrococcus, and anti-staphylococcal. Maybe should I have been a doctor? I don't know. Properties. Apply earwax directly on a cold sore, and in time it will stop the tingling and pain.
Okay.
This is one where I feel like even if it's true, I'm still not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This next one I'm going to need your help on. Number 2, and now I don't know what the answer to this one is. This one is sitting on a cold wall gives you piles. And I don't know what piles is.
It doesn't sound good. Is that like
well,
hemorrhoids?
I mean, I don't want like whatever it is. I don't want it. Well, you look it up. I got this other one. I don't know what piles is.
All right,
This might be a super lame. This might be a super lame episode because we don't really know any of these things, and I don't know enough about piles. I don't know anything about piles, so I couldn't even tell you if I felt like the answer on this website was. Oh, okay.
Yeah, hemorrhoids. I'm gonna say false.
All right, so okay.
I aren't hemorrhoids like inherited or something? You know, I don't know.
I don't know much about hemorrhoids either. I think they can just happen, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about hemorrhoids. I'm not into the hemorrhoid porn, so.
No, I'm not a member of the hemorrhoid culture.
Yeah. It says false. Piles, or hemorrhoids for people not in the 1700s, are far more likely to be the result of pregnancy, straining due to constipation, or childbirth. Getting a chilly bum does not cause them. So good news for all you cold wall sitters out there, which would probably be most of our cigar smoking friends that listen and like to smoke outside in the winter. You're not going to get hemorrhoids from smoking your cigar leaning against your stone fence that keeps your sheep in your yard and away from your neighbors' grazing fields.
I thought about getting sheep.
Are you Scottish?
No.
Okay. All right, number 3, and I've heard this one, and I'm sure you have as well. Chicken soup makes you better.
How are they going to quantify this? I mean, it's the salt and the carbs and the warmth, and I'm sure a lot of the memories that it brings up that makes you feel better when you're sick. I don't think that the chicken soup aspect has anything to do with it. I think it might be some physical responses to the addictive parts of the food. You know what I mean? Like that fat and sugar and salt mix.
Okay.
Maybe there's some of that, but mostly this is not going to be like a psychosomatic response.
Yeah. And you know what? You hit it spot on because the answer is true-ish. So it says chicken soup won't actually cure cold, but scientists have found that chicken soup can reduce inflammation by slowing down the white blood cell activity responsible for that inflammation, which then will relieve some symptoms. So it won't actually cure you or fix your cold, but it will relieve your symptoms slightly.
Interesting.
Here's another one, and I don't know anything about this either, but I have heard this in like true crime things, or like the true crime movies and things, or deduction stuff. 2 blue-eyed parents can't produce a brown-eyed child. And this was this is an old wives' tale from before 23andMe or whatever the other genetic testing
I would say
is.
that's false. There's got to be. It's all about the alleles, right? I'm trying to remember.
Well, and I don't even know about that, but I know
biology.
there's recessive genes and things.
Right.
So the answer is false. You're right, Mike. Blue-eyed mother and father can have a child with brown eyes, but it's incredibly rare. And 2 brown-eyed parents can have a child with blue eyes, but again, that's also rare. So it's one of those things where... Oh, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, I saw a little article, and I did not read it. I only read the headline, that a white couple had a black child, and that they took a DNA test, and it's their biological child. And I know that that's happened in Africa with black couples having white children as well, and they've done DNA tests on those children. So I think that many things are possible when it comes to the genetic code, no matter what it is.
Yeah, and do you know if any of those people that had different skin-colored children had any of that skin color in their lineage?
Oh, who knows? Who knows?
Well, yeah, I mean, at this point, like, everything's kind of a melting pot, right? Like,
right.
You'd have to really, like, the most a lot of us can hope for is knowing the names of a lot of the people that are our ancestors, but a lot of times that doesn't indicate race, you know?
Right. I know that I have green eyes, and apparently that is not very common. So there we go.
Well, they're beautiful, Mike. I want you to know.
I've been told that many times.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, like, some of these... so this one, it says it's false. But you know what? It says it's incredibly rare for it to happen. So... I guess in that sense, I would maybe qualify this and say, you know, like generally in the era that old wives' tales were much more of a thing, this would be borderline true. You know what I mean? Like it's very unlikely for this to happen. Doesn't mean
unlikely,
it couldn't happen.
Not impossible. Right.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it couldn't happen, but it's one of those things where back in the day you didn't have the internet, you couldn't like sample a large population. You would just say, hey, you know what? Never seen 2 blue-eyed parents produce a brown-eyed child. You know,
right.
There you go. So, you know, I feel like, yeah, I mean, technically it's not true, but it's close to the truth, I guess, is what I would say.
It's one of those things where the exception makes the rule. I don't know how common it is.
I don't know either. Probably not very common.
I have uncles that are brown-eyed that are like my dad. My dad has gray colored eyes, like the wolf gray eye.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's got a brother that has brown eyes.
Okay.
And his dad had gray eyes as well, but my grandmother had brown eyes. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about kind of like genes and that kind of stuff.
No.
And I don't, you know, like to be honest, I don't know why this, right? Like 2 blue-eyed parents can't make a brown-eyed child. Like, why would that even be a thing that you would say to people? You know what I mean? Like, some of these old wives' tales, like, I don't understand why they became like a thing that people kind of passed down as knowledge.
I guess I've never heard that wives' tale.
Well, me either, but I mean, it seems like obscure, like very like weird. But whatever. I mean, it's up to us to decide now because we're the ones talking about it and looking at them.
Right.
I guess. So, all right. The next one, if you're ready for this, and I think you might know the answer to this. I think you're a lot closer to home on this one than I am. Cows lie down when it's going to rain.
Cows lie down when it's going to rain.
Yeah, and also sidebar with this one, the rains in Spain happen mainly on the plain. For any of you My Fair Lady fans out there.
I'm going to say that is false because I've seen plenty of cows standing in the rain.
Okay, so this one says it's true-ish. Researchers found that cows stand up for longer periods when it's hot, proving a link between their behavior and weather. And it's also suggested that cows lie down when it's colder, which is often what happens to the climate just before it rains. But again, they're not really citing any research on this website here, so it's probably along the lines of the 2 blue-eyed parents can't make a brown-eyed child. Like maybe some cows lay down when it's going to rain, and some don't. I don't know. I know cows. I think cows have different dialects. of their moos. I mean, like, seriously, like, I'm not trying to like pull your leg or like be shitty about anything. But I feel like I read something where it was like cows have like different dialects. So if you take a cow from one country and put it with a cow from a different country, they wouldn't necessarily like understand one another. Or I don't know how anyone has the time to figure that shit out, I guess, is kind of my thing. But
what I always assumed was that they could do math problems together as long as they use an Arabic numeral system. But they probably
I mean, you got to find your common ground, right?
Right.
Grass good, wolves bad.
Yeah. If they're like Chinese cows and they're not using Arabic numerals, they're using Mandarin. They probably have more difficulty working together on their math problems.
Probably. Okay, here's one that I have heard, except they're using shepherd, and that's not how I've heard it. Red sky at night, shepherd's delight. I've heard sailor's delight.
Yep.
Red sky in morning, shepherd's warning. I've heard sailors.
I've heard that one as well.
Yes. With the shepherds or the sailors?
The sailors. Yeah. We're seafaring peoples, apparently. Here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's more sailors nowadays than shepherds, probably. Yeah, we love our seas here in the North Woods, landlocked.
Well,
yeah, sure. We have 10,000. We have 10,000 lakes here, but we love our seas here, man.
Yeah. Well, Edmund Fitzgerald and all that.
Yep.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay. I like it. I like this one. This is one that kind of like gives me comfort in my little like comfort spot, which is different from my prison pocket mic. So don't you dare say it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one is true. And apparently this first appeared in the Bible, our favorite book, in the Gospel of Matthew, and was used to help shepherds prepare for the next day's weather. There's they're talking about the variations, talking about sailors, the red sky, and I saw another one, and it was talking about like dust particles in the air that cause the redness, and so it kind of tells you when the pressure system is leaving or arriving. So, but again, like I don't know if that's true every single time, or just most of the time. You know what I mean?
Right. Weather is largely unpredictable. Depending on where you're at.
Yeah, and I feel like in order for us to really kind of delve into these and speak intelligently about these, we probably both need like a few more master degrees, and I don't have any, so I'd need a lot more. Right. Like I don't know, but I guess like if this one's true, then it's true enough for me in my day-to-day life, and also my weather app on my phone will tell me when things are happening. So again, not super applicable.
Stupid weather app. We've had a lot of snow this year, and multiple times it's like, it's not going to snow for another 3 hours, and outside's a
which
blizzard.
One do you use? Which weather app do you use?
I use the one that comes with an iPhone and the one that comes on an Alexa.
Okay. I've had really good luck with one called Carrot. They're not a sponsor, but you can have it be as like sarcastic as you want. So I turned the personality up to overkill. So it told me today it's sunny, go fuck yourself. But it's accurate, and it gives me like by the hour precipitation. So I can look and be like, okay, it looks like the snow or the rain is supposed to stop in whatever. It's been really accurate in my experience. So it's you have to pay for it, but it's like a one-time thing. It's not a big deal. But they're not a sponsor. If you're happy with your other app, keep that one. If you're not, there's others that are better out there. Most everything is better than whatever stock comes on the iPhone. Apple's apps are kind of like shit, by and large.
Maps app is horrific.
Terrible. Yeah. So like I use Google. I don't use their browser. I use Brave because the Firefox app kind of like sucked. I love Firefox as a browser, and I have it on all my computers, but the iPhone app was unresponsive for a long time, so I had to switch. I
use Safari and Brave both.
Okay.
On my iPhone.
But that's neither here nor there because we're talking about old wives' tales and not technology troubleshooting. But I feel like I'm halfway through this cigar.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. I've been digging it. This one's good.
It is good. It's dark and it's sweet, and I like dark and sweet usually.
Yes.
Not Cheroux-like though, I would say.
No, it's not Cheroux sweet. I've been getting some good ash off of this too.
I've been really trying to control the ash because I wasn't sure if I was going to have good astronaut, to be honest with you. But it's been pretty solid. I'm getting a little uneven burn, but...
Oh, okay. Mine's been really even, and the draw has been great. So, and this came from the same humidor that's running a little bit more humid than it typically does. And I think it's just because, like, things are melting and we've got just a little bit more humidity going on now. So I know it shouldn't really affect inside the humidor, but I don't understand how everything works in life. So I don't know. But This one's smoking great, and I don't have any draw problems or lighting issues. And I'm happy.
Both of mine might be a little dry. I organized my cigars this afternoon. And,
okay.
So I had my humidors all open, trying to keep track. And I got you a big 1 gallon bag full of cigars for the show.
Okay,
so,
I'm excited. We've got lots of content, everybody out there.
So
we're not going anywhere unless we get shut down over our last episode.
Oh, we were really calm on that one on purpose. I thought.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I like to talk about, but a lot of those things have to be handled very delicately because people are incited one way or the other way. And I feel like our society is getting more to that point where there's not a lot of middle ground anymore, and it's either this or that. And I don't think that that's right. I think there's a lot more middle ground out there than people are aware of. But and speaking about middle ground, Mike, if you're peeling or chopping onions, have you ever cried, had your eyes water?
Rarely, but yes. And my Sarah has a serious issue with chopping onions.
All right, so this one is putting a slice of bread in your mouth can stop you crying when peeling onions. Do you think that is true
slice of bread
or not true?
I've heard burned matches. I've heard a number of different things. Now I'm trying to think of them. Piece of bread I never heard of. So I suppose if the bread is long enough, it would block the vapor coming off of the onion.
So here's what it says. It says it is true. The synpropanethyl oxide in onions is released as a gas during chopping and irritates the eye, stimulating the tear ducts. Putting a slice of bread in your mouth with half of it sticking out is thought to catch the fumes before they reach the eye. Or you could do like the author of this website does, I guess, and just put on some goggles. So if you wear like swim goggles, you're not going to get the gas in your eyeballs.
You know what I did, Nate? I just cut enough onions when I was working at a restaurant that my eyes are used to it now.
Okay. You're just built different. That's all.
I'm not built different. It's like anything else. Just deal with it.
Yeah. So this next one here is the one I take umbrage with. But we'll talk about it because I'm sure you understand where this one came from.
Okay.
This next one is eating carrots improves your vision.
I've heard this one before.
Yes.
I've heard this one before.
Do you think it's true or false?
I read about this a while ago, and apparently there is a vitamin in the carrot that theoretically is good for your eye health. Whether that makes it true or not is another matter, because you can get that vitamin in several foods. So
yeah. So this is what it says. It says true. Carrots are rich in vitamin A, which is essential for sight. But also asparagus, apricots, nectarines, and milk also have vitamin A. And the reason why everybody thinks carrots, more so than anything else, is good for your vision is World War II propaganda. Have you heard this?
I have not.
Oh, okay. So I'm very excited then to tell you this. This is one of my favorite things. During World War II, we invented radar. And we didn't want the Germans to know we invented radar. So what they did was they did this huge campaign saying that they've been feeding our pilots all of these carrots. So I guess like there's probably a little bit of basis that, vitamin A is good for eyesight. So it wasn't like, we just eat water chestnuts, so that's good for our eyesight. So they base it kind of in stuff, but it's largely propaganda where they said they've been feeding our pilots a lot of carrots, and that's improved their night vision and stuff to see all the German planes, except we had radar. So it had nothing to do with carrots, but It was our cover for inventing radar so the enemy wouldn't know that we have a new technology.
That explains why I heard that from my grandmother.
Yes.
Who was very much alive during World War II.
Well, and who herself was an old wife.
Mm-hmm.
And had tales to tell. Okay, so now this next one I've also heard this next one, and I haven't scrolled down, so I don't know if it's true or false right now. But I feel just like I'll read it to you, and then I'll tell you what my feelings on it are. Feed a cold and starve a fever. Have you heard that one, Mike?
I have heard this one, and I feel that is false. You should probably feed both.
Okay. And I feel like as a child I believed it, and then I heard somebody say feed both, and I was like, well, I like eating. So this one is false. The original saying was feed a cold, stave a fever, and stave means prevent. So I think they thought that a cold would then turn into a fever. So fasting makes you weak, even if you don't feel like eating. Eat some chicken soup is what this website says. With our third wife's tale. We're not Mormons. We don't have a third wife. Old wife's tale number 3, not wife number 3's tale. Okay, and this next one I've heard too, and my grandma used to say this to me all the time. And I'm sure your grandma said this to you all the time too, especially if she knew the carrot thing. I don't know how all these old wives knew all of these same sayings without Twitter. But I suppose
chain emails.
Yeah, chain emails. All my bad luck is because I didn't forward this one chain email in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that firmly. Okay, you'll catch a cold if you go out in winter without a coat. And this was the same as rain too. Like, yeah, I was gonna say rain too. So, what do you think, Mike? Do you think if you go out when it's cold outside, you're going to get piles and a cold?
There's a possibility that it would weaken your immune system, I guess. I don't think that it's directly related unless it's just weakening your body's response because you're focusing energy on creating heat, But no, I don't think
I feel like, and I haven't scrolled down, but I feel like this one's false because I don't know if Mythbusters did it or somebody else did it. I feel like there's been some tests on this one. Okay, so here we go. This one says false. Getting chilly doesn't cause a cold. There was a study in the New England Journal of Medicine, and 2 groups of people were exposed to the common cold virus. One group was exposed to germs in an unheated room, and the other in a balmy room, and both groups caught colds at the same rate. So temperature of your surroundings doesn't impact whether you get a cold or not. Although I'm sure if you are George from Christmas Carol and you're living like in an unheated home for extended periods of time, you're probably going to get a cold more often than, someone else. But maybe not due to temperature, just because if you can't afford heat for your home, you probably can't afford like the carrots and vitamin A or something.
The cold. Yeah, mine was the rain for sure. It was rain.
Yeah. Ours was the rain too. It was always yelled at, like, it's raining outside. I'm just running to the barn or something, and gotta put a coat on. All right. So this cigar is smoking a lot faster than I anticipated, and we're on number 11 of 19. So I don't think it will go to the other website for Wives' Tales.
I'm halfway through.
I'm more than halfway through. This one's been really tasty, and I guess maybe I like. Because last episode I had drop problems, and now I'm like puffing hard, like I had to on the last cigar, and I'm like, I'm just sucking it down. But I like this one.
No, this is really good.
I was blown away. Like, honestly, I think this one's fairly inexpensive.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm curious. I don't know if you want to look it up or not on Pipes and Cigars, not a sponsor.com.
I can look it up. We'll double check.
All right.
That way everybody knows.
Yeah. Might as well. I mean, so, and with our last episode, we were talking about freedoms and people wanting to do things. And with us talking on previous episodes this season about how we kind of smoke, I don't want to say like low grade, but like low cost cigars. And I've been talking to some people who I'm trying to get as guests on the show. And they're saying, well, we don't know anything about cigars, and I don't want to be, embarrassed about whatever. And I'm like, man, like, just because I have a cigar podcast, with my buddy doesn't mean that I know things about cigars, because I'm constantly learning. And a lot of times I feel like I'm an idiot with cigars. But it doesn't matter, because it's just I'm smoking cigars and I don't know a whole lot about them. And if you don't know, so like we're like what, the anti-gatekeepers then?
Right.
You know, like
Yeah,
I'm not trying to sit here and be like, oh, I'm getting floral notes and I taste like cut grass, and I can tell the person who picked this tobacco was wearing some kind of cologne. Like, you know, like that's not what we're about.
We're in some kind of cologne. Oh my!
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh no, I do. This is a Robusto, and you can get them for $4.50, $5 a stick.
Okay.
And this is a Drew Estate, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
This is like the best $4 or $5 you could spend, I think, on a cigar.
There's a lot of, well, that's one of the goals of the show, is so that we can experience these $4 to $5 cigars largely, and there's some of them that are real stinkers, and there's some of them that are pretty good, and this is one of the ones that are pretty good.
This one's got some good nicotine content, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can feel it on my tongue for sure. Like in my mouth.
Yeah, I can feel it on your tongue too. No, wait. Anyway, all right. This next one, like I've never heard this, and I don't even know what this means. But also, in full disclosure, Mike and myself are not the generation that carpeted over hardwood floors. So this next one is putting ice cubes on dents in the carpet will remove them.
On carpet?
Does this mean like if you have like a dresser and then you move it and it's got the little like foot imprints? Is that like a carpet dent?
Yeah, I would think so. I would say that's probably true, because you're going to moisturize it and get it to repuff, right? I know if you go over it with
the spring back.
With a carpet cleaner, it'll pull it right up. We have area carpets on our hardwood flooring, and if you go over it with that carpet cleaner, it's makes it like brand new, you know.
And to be fair, an area rug is different than carpeting over an entire house of hardwood floors. I say this because our house has hardwood floors that have been entirely carpeted over. Anyway, I'm not bitter. Let's move on.
My parents had a house that had that, and my dad ripped it all out, and they refinished it, and then they had nice hardwood floors.
Yeah. Our realtor said, let your kids destroy the carpet, and then when they're old enough, you can tear the carpet up and, you know, repolish the floors and everything. It'll be great. And my brother bought a house, and they carpeted the bathroom. They carpeted the bathroom and over all the hardwood floors. So there's that.
I've seen that before, especially in basements.
Okay. But everybody's mad at us about participation ribbons, and my dad's dog got a first place participation ribbon in a dog parade for wearing a Trump vest. So I feel like it probably wasn't our generation to blame for that.
Well, obviously, I mean, I was never involved in anything where there was like participation trophies or any weird stuff.
There was no participation trophies in bowling, Mike.
No, there was not.
Okay.
But it's got to be the parents' fault, right? These kids aren't the ones that are enforcing this.
Yeah, but they blame us because like they invented that, and now we like that, and I don't. Like I don't need a ribbon. I don't want like. On my 5-year anniversary with my company, they sent like this really gaudy like glass like certificate that's super lame, and I'm like, why would you send me this? Like, just give me a $10 bill. Like, I don't need a glass like thing to display. Like, I'm not going to display it. I don't have people over at the house, and they're like, wow, you got a really nice gaudy glass certificate thing from your company. They must really like you. Like, that's not how that works. Like, I don't know. You know, it's like the one guy, I saw this one review because like Microsoft was like, how likely are you to recommend Windows to a friend? And the guy was like, I don't think you understand like operating systems and normal people's conversations. Like we don't sit around and be like, you should really try Windows 10. I think that would fix all your problems in life. Like I know we're just drinking a beer and like talking about mowing the lawn, but I think Windows 10 would really help you. It's just not. It's not like normal people stuff. It's like lizard people stuff. You know what I mean?
All I can tell you is don't watch the news with Ray-Bans on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Consume, procreate.
Oh, if for anybody who's listening who has not seen They Live, you need to watch They Live. Yeah,
there's some fucking phenomenal one-liners in there.
Oh, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Yeah, and then my other favorite, and I almost like this one better, is I think it's like Life's a Bitch and She's Back in Heat or something like that.
Yep.
One of the lesser knowns. So anyway, back to the ice cubes. If you put them on the nipple, it will harden. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had the wrong tab open. Place an ice cube over the spot. Wait until it melts, and the dent should be gone. So that one is true. Or you could just use, like a carpet shampooer thing, carpet cleaner. Number 12. I guess I never really thought of this as an old wives' tale, other than it's more so a common societal trope. And there's a really great Mr. Bean episode about this one, and it's fantastic. But I love Mr. Bean, so I'm probably biased. This
Mr.
one
Bean taught me how to drive around roundabouts.
Yes. Yes. And taught me how not to cheat on a test. And how to keep myself entertained during a church service. Anyway, and to have an unrational hatred for three-wheeled cars.
Oh my!
So in the series, there's his arch nemesis who you never see in person drives and so it's a British thing, and so there's two wheels in the back and one wheel in the front, and it's like a little car truck thing, but it's tiny, you know what I mean? But it's always cutting him off, and he's got his own tiny little car. But anyway, count sheep to fall asleep, and it rhymes, so it must be true. And I know that there is a psychological thing where people are more likely to believe something that rhymes than something that doesn't.
I always thought that was an invention of advertisement. So I've never even considered if that's real or not.
Yeah, I mean, I just know I never really equated it with an old wives' tale. I just kind of equated it with a societal trope.
Right.
But we'll see. This one is true. Counting imaginary sheep when you're in bed can help distract you from stressful or anxious thoughts.
I guess if I have issues falling asleep because of stress, I tend to try to find solutions to my problems.
Yeah, and I mean, it's some nights. I mean, it's weird because some nights I'm just kind of a little more restless than other nights, or I just can't get comfortable. But I never really thought to actually try and count sheep. I try and go to a calm place in my mind.
Sure.
But sometimes, you know what it largely is? If I go and drink some water and then come back, I fall right asleep. So everybody these days is dehydrated because everybody's drinking coffee and soda and all these weird things. And it's just drink some straight water and you'll probably be better,
Are people dehydrated? I drink usually around a gallon of water a day.
Okay, I don't.
And I've been
I should. I try
years.
And drink more water than... I probably drink around 32 ounces of water a day.
Okay. See, maybe I measure it because I have a half gallon.
40 or 50 some.
And then I have I have a measured amount of water I bring with me, and I drink it most of the time. I drink it all. During the summer, I certainly drink it all.
Yeah. I've been trying recently to get better about drinking more water. And I don't know why. It's a survival thing. You shouldn't even have to be okay, now I gotta survive, so I gotta drink some water. It shouldn't even be that thing. You should just be doing it normally. But I think there's so much other shit out there that you can drink that maybe tastes better. But then on the other hand, sometimes you just want that straight water, man.
Maybe a city water, because I'm not a fan of city water.
Well, we have a pitcher filter or filter pitcher
sure.
or whatever, so and that's what we drink out of. We don't really drink out of the tap. And then it's in the fridge, so it's always fridge cold, which is great. But it shouldn't even really be a thing. You should just drinking water, and you don't need to have fancy water, flavored water, or carbonated water, or whatever. Just it's water. Just drink some good, crisp, clean water, This next one I kind of laughed at in my head as we were talking. And again, I haven't scrolled down to see what the answer is, but this one says, chewing parsley gets rid of garlic breath. And so the second one must be chewing garlic gets rid of parsley breath. I mean, right? Like chewing coffee beans gets rid of onion breath. Like, well, I guess.
Chewing
I don't know.
Coffee beans would get rid of just about anything breath, I'm pretty sure.
Probably true.
I knew a guy, and I only worked with him for a couple days, thankfully. He was like a hillbilly type guy, and he was a tobacco chewer.
A Mormon.
He was quitting.
Or, I mean, an Amish, right?
Yeah, he was not an Amish, but he was a hillbilly character, and he used to chew tobacco. And he switched to dipping coffee grounds. And he would put a dip in, but it was coffee grounds. And I was like, that can't be pleasant.
No,
his teeth
but it's
were always
better.
Black, with just coffee grounds everywhere, and it's like, oh my god.
I mean, it's got to be better. It's got to be better, like medically, than dip. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it doesn't have fiberglass and all sorts of horribleness in it, so it's got to be better for you than that.
Yeah.
I could never. I don't know if I could ever do that more than for one time. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know. Like I wouldn't. And I like me some like really strong coffee, but I'm not just packing my gums full of coffee. So back to the parsley. This is true. Parsley contains compounds that counteract the high sulfur content of garlic. And I guess this makes sense because if you are chopping garlic with your hands, you need to rub your hands on stainless steel, and that will remove the garlic smell from your fingers. So we have a stainless steel sink. So every time I chop garlic, I just rub my hands in the sink, and then the garlic smell is gone. So
interesting. I just washed them.
Yeah, but you can still smell it, like it's residual. So the stainless steel like will neutralize that. Oh, and they actually sell. And you don't need this, but like they sell like stainless steel, like they look like a bar of soap, but you just use it for after garlic. But we have a stainless steel sink, so I just rub my hands on the divider. You know what I mean?
Right. I have seen the stainless steel soap bar.
So yeah, I mean it's interesting because like a lot of this stuff is like chemistry stuff, which I wish we would have been learned. I wish we would have been learned this. I'm glad we did the other episode first. Is all I'm going to say. I wish we would. I wish we would have learned some of this like really interesting chemistry stuff in high school chemistry instead of like, hey, why don't you go fuck around with dry ice? Although that's fun too. Like I love dry ice, but okay, this one I don't know what this one means. So hopefully you've heard of this one and you can explain it to me because I don't know what the fuck this one's talking about. The swing of a ring will determine the sex of your baby. So my first question is, what ring? What swing?
That's total nonsense. We know how that works.
I don't know how that works.
I mean, the egg and the sperm and what
Wait
ring?
Wait a second. Yeah. What? Okay, so this one is false. The tale is that if you take off your wedding ring, tie it to a piece of string, and hang it over your belly, if it swings in a circle, you'll have a boy. If it moves back and forth, you're expecting a girl.
That is some like medieval nonsense right there.
That is some absolute bullshit. Like I don't know.
That's just dumb.
That is. I don't have words.
That's so stupid. I'm not going to make a comparison, but I can think of a lot of things that are as stupid as that. And that is really dumb.
That is really dumb. Speaking about old wives' tales, so we're going to be on number 15 out of 19. This next one here is toothpaste can send spots packing. I feel like this website has taken the old wives' tales and tried to update it to modern parlance.
Yeah.
But, so that kind of sucks. But I think this one's true. I think toothpaste can do a lot of stuff. And I've seen videos of like Coca-Cola taking rust off of things or whatever. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this one's true.
You can use toothpaste to clean up tobacco pipe bits, the mouthpieces, if they're vulcanized rubber.
I should, when I'm with you in a week, I should bring my antique store pipe up and maybe we can like ream it together.
We can do that. We can ream it and salt it. Not assault it, but salt it.
So toothpaste could send spots packing. Let us find out. This is true. Toothpaste contains menthol, which most of your cigarettes do as well, which cools and soothes inflammation as well. Why would it be talking about inflammation?
I think they're talking about zits.
Oh, well, then why would they just say zits or pimples?
Okay, so yeah, you can put people.
I trigger myself, and you should too.
You have to be sensitive to people's needs, Nate.
Yeah, and you know what they need is they need some toothpaste. You can put toothpaste, and they also toothpaste also contains antibacterial agents, I guess, so they can fight infection and detergents.
We were totally off on what they meant by spots. I thought they were talking.
I know. I thought it was like stains.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like in Superbad when Jonah Hill's like, she perioded on me. And he had like the period spot. And then the guy's like, were you dancing with that woman? And he's like, oh, she perioded on you too. Cool, man. We're matching. And he's like, no, that's my girlfriend.
I don't remember that. That's okay.
That's fine. That's fine. We both knew the one movie we were talking about earlier, so
yes,
that's all that matters.
Well, They Live is a classic, I would say. As weird as that is to say.
Well, all of his movies are, really. Village of the Damned was really good.
Haven't seen it.
And, of course, he did The Thing with Kurt Russell, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's a good one for any of you that have pubes. If you're under 18, you shouldn't be listening to our explicit podcast, and you should not be getting tattoos or tanning. So this one is pull out a gray hair, and 2 will grow in its place. Do you think this is true, Mike?
Ridiculous. That's
the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And it's just like if you shave something, the hair comes back like twice. There's a whole Seinfeld episode of it, which was hilarious, but I don't believe biologically accurate.
No.
Okay, let's find out. This is false. It actually takes about 3 months for new hair to grow and a further 3 months before you'll notice it. If you pull out a gray hair, by the time the one you pulled out grows back, a few more will have appeared nearby, so it'll look as if 2 have grown in its place. But that's only if you're graying. Like I have a patch of gray hair on my head, but it's never expanded from what it's been since like high school. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like my printer is out of toner in that area. So,
yes, my beard is definitely going gray.
But but it's not like. I don't think. Yeah, and it's different. Like if you pluck it, you have the potential of like tearing out the root, but it still grows back. So it's not like it's a thing, but like you're not actually like adding more gray to that area, unless it's just your natural body's decision at that time to go gray.
Right. So stupid.
Yeah, I know. A lot
That's
of these
not as stupid as taking your wedding ring off and swinging it. But
I'm going to do that from now on. I'm just going to do it. Like, why not?
Yep. Hey,
Yeah. So I got about 2 inches of my cigar left. And we're on 17 out of 19.
An inch and like a quarter.
Okay, well I've been talking a lot more than you have, and I had to relight not because of the cigar went out on its own, because I was on a tangent and I was like excited, and then I was like, oh yeah, I kind of got carried away. So anyway, we'll do final thoughts after number 19. And I'm gonna try to get there before Mike burns his fingers. Number 17, and this one I know because I looked this one up. If you sit too close to the TV, you'll go blind.
That seems like an exaggeration. Seems like it's a partial truth, though, because if your eyes are focusing that often on it, I'm sure that you're going to damage your eyes. I was told that computer screens weaken your eyes, but I'm not sure if that's true.
There is definitely like eye strain. And my glasses have I think it's a blue tint filter, because there's a lot of blue light that comes from a computer screen and from your phone screen. And so a lot of phones, and iPhone has this, and Android phones have this, is you can put it to night mode and your screen appears more orange because the blue light actually prevents you from sleeping. And when blue LEDs came out, everything, like all your clocks and everything in your room were blue. Like I remember this in like the early 2000s. Everything was like a blue LED. Well, those are terrible for sleep. And red is the most sleep-friendly light to have, and the most night vision-friendly light to have. That's why a lot of hunting flashlights have a red light filter on the front. So the red wavelength is better for vision and night vision and soothing, and the blue light like triggers your brain into like hyperactive mode. So if you wear glasses, I highly suggest, because my eyes have not felt burned out, and I didn't even realize they felt burned out until I got these computer tint glasses that I wear every day. And my eyes, I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize. Like, you don't know until you know. But yeah, the computer screens are blue light heavy. So
very interesting.
Anyway, so this one is false. You can sit as close as you want, and your eyes will not be affected. The reason that children can sit closer to the TV is because they can focus closer to their faces than adults can without having eye strain. So if you or I were to sit close to a television set at our age, we'd experience more eye strain than if we sat a little further away. But children can focus closer, which kind of makes sense because a newborn can only focus, I think, like 8 or 10 inches in front of their face, and everything else beyond that is blurry. So
interesting. I guess I didn't know that about news. Why would I?
Yes. Well, why would you? And but so if you're around a newborn, the closer you get, the more interactive they'll be with you, because they can't see you from further than, a foot out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This next one seems like some absolute total BS, but let's find out. Number 18, pour white wine on spilt red wine to remove the stain. And that sounds like a tremendous waste of alcohol to me.
That seems like some weird wine mom logic.
Yeah, like, why not pour vodka on it then? Well, let's see. This one is false. I love this. I'm going to read this verbatim from the website. False. Some magazine did some lab tests and found that white wine is actually rubbish at removing red wine stains. So their suggestion is that you're much better off drinking it instead. And that mirrors what I said. Like, that seems like a tremendous waste of alcohol.
Have a carpet cleaner.
And yeah. Like, a lot of stains these days aren't that hard to remove. If you have the right cleaner agent, I guess.
Right. We have a Hoover something or other that's a carpet cleaner, and we don't have any issues. It removes. It's incredible how dirty the carpets get.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works pretty good. Even on car seats,
Yeah. I mean, if you have it's the same with most things in life. If you have the right tools and the right supplies, pretty much everything is easy. And if you take care of those tools, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if you have the right knife to cut a certain thing, or a right saw, or a right stain remover, or if you have vinegar at all. Like, vinegar is kind of like a wonder thing. Like, it does so much.
White vinegar that's a pretty powerful cleaner.
Yes.
How often do you descale your coffee pot?
I just did today. I do it probably once a quarter. And then I change out, ours has a carbon filter little pack, and I bought like a 10-pack of those. And so I tend to run the cleaner, and then I swap out the little carbon pack.
Sure. Mine
so
tells
I just did that today.
When I need to do it.
Oh, okay. Ours isn't quite that smart, but it does have the clean mode. And then you gotta pull the carbon pack out before you put the vinegar in. And Sarah did that the wrong way once, and so I was like, "Well, we'll just change the carbon pack. Like, it's not a big deal."
Right. I last time I descaled it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I could not believe all the junk that came out of there. Incredible amounts of debris out of that machine. It was unsettling. It's like,
yeah, junk never really comes. Yeah. Probably. Like, I only use filtered water in our coffee maker. And so, like, junk doesn't come out, but there definitely does get some, like, buildup of, like, old coffee just throughout the thing, so. All right, so I've got about an inch left of this cigar. I'm burning my fingers. I've really liked it.
I really enjoyed it.
It didn't really do a flavor change or anything, and I know we tend to like those more, but this one's been dark. It's a little less sweet now at the end, so maybe it did do a little bit of a flavor change, and I've just been more focused on old wives and their tails. But
right, it's hot right now for me, and I have about an inch left as well. And I think that might have lowered the sweetness just because of all the heat, but it was very consistent, dark, sweet. So
yeah, and for what, $4 or $5 a stick? Sign
Right.
me up. I'm going to have to get
Oh,
more
yeah.
of these.
Yeah, these are definitely winners, I would say.
All right. And so with that, this will be our last Old Wives' Tale for this episode. But before we get into that, I want to tell you that we have our very first episode sponsor.
Okay.
And it's not this episode. It's a future episode. But we had some friends go down to New Orleans. And they stayed with us, and we dropped them off at the airport. I say we, but I mean Sarah. And we picked them up, and by we, I mean Sarah. But they came back, and they brought, because we were talking about our podcast before they left. And they went to a cigar shop down in New Orleans and brought back 2 of the same stick for you and I to smoke on our show.
Very nice.
So I was thinking maybe our next episode we could do that one.
Yeah. Then our next episode we're going to be in person, right?
Yep, that is correct.
There we go.
All right, so and this last one here will come into play on our next episode when we're in person, because when we're in person, what do we tend to do, Mike?
Consume. We have libations.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yes.
So the last one is hair of the dog will ease your hangover.
That is true.
I believe it is true as well, although I have never partaken in that.
Oh, well, I can assure you that.
But I have people that swear by it.
It's a tricky mistress because it's easy to go over the hump.
Yeah. Especially in the morning when you don't have any food in your stomach. So.
Oh, yes.
This one is true. Research has shown that consuming small doses of alcohol can relieve alcohol withdrawal symptoms, but it can increase dependency on alcohol, so it's best to avoid getting a hangover in the first place. If you've been boozing, drink Nate's favorite and Mike's favorite liquid, a big glass of water.
Yes. I tend to, if I drink a lot of water, I don't get as drunk.
Yeah. And what I've tried to do, at least in college, and I've kind of fallen away from this, like as an adult, because I just want to get drunk, I guess. But if I was going for a big drinking night, I would try and do 1 for 1. Like every beer I would drink, I would try and drink 1 glass of water. And then I usually didn't have a hangover the next day, no matter how much I drank.
Right. Well,
I mean, you're in the bathroom a lot more, but it's just pee and you're not throwing up or anything. So
right. I've done that. If I try to consciously try to increase my water intake for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good strategy, and I need to be more diligent with myself on that. And I haven't been of late, so.
I try to avoid drinking heavy amounts most of the time because I'm older and I have responsibilities, so.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's all the old wives' tale. Did you have any other like wives' tales that you've heard of that we didn't cover?
I mean, I could have done some preparation and thought of a few. I know that witching sticks. I don't know if witching sticks would be a wives' tale or not, though.
I don't know what's a witching sticks.
You take like 2 typically number 6 solid pieces of copper and you bend them. And then supposedly you can walk and find water lines and find electrical wires because they'll cross, and
okay.
Some people swear that it's true. I think it's not true. It's more if you know where it should be, you already have an idea. So of course your stupid witching sticks are gonna, turn where you think it's gonna be. And if you have enough education about how a system is built, you know where it is anyway. You can look at it and see where things should be at. So I don't know if that's real. Apparently back in the day, they'd hire people to witch out where to put wells underground for water.
Okay, yeah.
And who knows? I don't believe it, but a lot of people swear by it.
I mean, I guess I've heard of that, but it wasn't really like copper. I wasn't like the Aborigines in Australia would take like 2 sticks and claim they could find water or something, or was that the Native Americans here? I don't know.
I've heard sticks. I've seen guys use copper. I don't think the material makes a difference, right?
Yeah, I mean, probably not.
I'm guessing it doesn't really.
Probably not.
But yeah, I don't know. The wives' tale turns into folk wisdom really quick. depending on.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does. Like, you're only like a generation or two away from that, so.
Oh, right. Especially like my grandparents were World War II era, so
Yep.
they had a lot of old folksy sayings.
Yeah, for sure.
So always interesting, but yeah, that Kentucky Fire Cured MUWAT was.
Yep, this one was good. I liked it quite a bit. And for $4 a stick, I mean, this might replace. It's not going to replace a Cheroux, but if you want something longer than a Cheroux, like this would almost be my go-to.
Right? Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
It's a good one.
Would you say it's better than like one of the Fumas, those Rocky Patel Fumas that we had?
Ooh, I don't know, man. The Fumas were really good.
They were really good. Similar price point too.
Yeah.
So not too far off, at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'd have to do like a smoke off, or smoke one and then the other, to get a final like verdict on whether or not the Fuma was better than the MUWAT. But I guess whatever's available to you
this season as well.
Okay, good. I'm excited. We've got some exciting cigars coming up. Mike's got a gallon bag for me, and I went and bought some special limited edition cigars that I'll be bringing to Mike. And we'll be doing some really interesting stuff this season. So,
heck yeah.
Stay tuned. Thanks for listening to Nice Ashes.
Be safe, have fun.